Let's start with the most iconic of action cameras, which gave its name to the category. In fact, my friends say GoPro to mean action cam. But sorry GoPro, I don't recommend the GoPro 12. The GP2 processor is the same processor as the GoPro 11, and in fact the GoPro 12 is only a minimal evolution of the 11, which itself was a minimal evolution of the 10, which was a slight evolution of the 9. By constantly making small steps, they've fallen behind their major competitors. It would be reasonable if it were priced at a maximum of 300 euros. However, it was offered this Black Friday at 389 euros. Its strength, namely stabilization, is still present, as in my instrument tests, it manages to compensate up to a frequency of 5. The image remains quite stable while... Look at how much the action cam shakes at level 5. Unfortunately, the stabilization works well only in the standard 16:9 format. GoPro also offers square 8:7 and 9:16 vertical formats, but the stabilization takes us back at least 6 years. In practical use, will the stabilization still be sufficient? If we film during the day in 16:9, we won't have problems whether we record in standard mode or seek a wider dynamic range with HDR or LRG, which of course requires color grading in post-production to achieve vivid and customized colors tailored to our taste. For a more spectacular image, we could alter the field of view by choosing Super View and also Hyper View, which can be paired with black bars, giving a very appealing cinematic effect for travel shots. See how evocative this simple motorcycle shot is of an on-the-road scene. But if we err by recording with low light, it will feel like we've chosen the wrong action cam, going back at least 6 years. In fact, it's worse because the Sony FDR-X3000, launched in 2016 under similar conditions, seems like it's from another planet. If night shot stabilization isn't as crucial for you, the images obtained are still well lit and vivid, but the dynamic range is limited and the control of the highlights is less effective compared to the Insta360 Ace Pro and even to the ONE-RS with its 1-inch sensor. Remember this scene, as later we'll see the difference. And if you're looking for the best nighttime performance, it's unmatched! Insta360 has just launched Insta360 Ace and Ace Pro with 1x2 and 1x1.3 sensors. For comparison, the GoPro 12 uses a 1x1.9 GP2 sensor, and the DJI Osmo Action 4 uses a 1x1.3 sensor. Will we then get images similar to a GoPro 12 or a DJI Osmo Action 4? No, because Insta360 Ace adds artificial intelligence and outshines the competition. With the same sensor, the dynamic range is really close, but the DJI Osmo Action 4 struggles as soon as there's movement. Look at these images captured in a cave. There's a lot of contrast, but with HDR, the sea's tone is noticeable and the cave's profile is visible. Another comparison here. Please note how the vegetation is more appreciable and also the details of the pebbles at the waterfall's base. Other aspects are high quality, but not as revolutionary as waterproof up to 10 meters underwater, a battery that finally lasts up to 2 hours and charges to 80% in 20 minutes. And they finally introduced the ability to pause recording. We can choose the export format after recording it in square format, but be aware, it's time-consuming. Also, we'll be able to remove the selfie stick from the recording. By utilizing the full width of the sensor, we can simulate a moving time-lapse, but keep in mind, there will be no change in perspective as the image will stay flat. We will finally have a small remote control that also provides a preview of the recording, and the camera can connect with other devices to record data from their sensors, and then overlay this data on top of your recorded videos, which gives them a professional look indeed. The Insta360 Ace Pro is definitely the best action cam released in 2023, both in terms of image quality and the ease of capturing beautiful images. Your friends will be so envious. What's the funniest action cam you can give as a gift? Insta360 GO 3! And Insta360 this year. You did them all right. It does not aim to excel in terms of technical qualities, but to be small, quick to use, and extremely fun. It's just fun to use this action cam either by leaving it in the base, which acts as a live remote view with the flip-up screen, but you can also detach it, so it's convenient for videos in selfie mode without having to buy a remote control. Having separate shell chambers with the magnetic shield gives us much more freedom of use. For example, we can magnetically attach the camera to the dress and check the framing on the screen. And when we are sure that we are framing the scene correctly, we can also put away the shell. After that, we will only have a tiny camera attached magnetically, that it's not even that noticeable. Insta360 GO 3 suffers a bit from the jelly effect if connected on the wrong mount on the bike. And so the magnetic coupling, which allows us to attach it to the jacket, filters a lot of vibrations. In addition, having the detachable base will allow us to easily control the shots to perfect it, even if we attach the action cam to the rear of the bike or in weird locations. Magnets are quite strong to hold on the fabric of a jacket, and by using the ND filters, we will be able to obtain a more blue sky and optimize the image for the limited dynamic range. Don't expect performance equal to the Insta360 Ace or top-of-the-range action cams, though you will get nice and natural colors, a limited minimum focus distance, a good image definition, even if the maximum resolution is 2 and not 4K, and good management of the limited range dynamics in high-contrast situations as against light, but we see it at the end. But where Insta360 GO 3 excels is for simplicity of use and fun. Let a child try it and he will go crazy. And Nomi was having a lot of fun too. And what is the low-light performance like at twilight? I'm a biker, and I wanted to make her do a tough test with vibrations and little light. The result? Not bad at all if we also compare with the GoPro 12. The Insta360 does not seem to suffer from the loss of stabilization efficacy in low light, unlike the GoPro 12. Of course, here let's remember that the Insta360 is magnetically mounted to the jacket of the motorcycle, while the GoPro is mounted on the holder with 1-inch balls. A bit difficult. Good colorimetric rendering, beautiful natural colors, and the ability to get closer to a few inches from the subject. Admittedly, the resolution and detail are not on par with the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, but still discreet, come on. And there's also good handling of difficult situations with wide dynamic range, such as a backlight in a tunnel. Incomparable to me. The Insta360 GO 3 is the most fun action cam of 2023. The king is naked! DJI Osmo Action 4 was launched aspiring to be the best action cam on the market, but when compared with Insta360 Ace Pro, its weaknesses become apparent. Its strengths, like stabilization for instance, are still there, as in instrumental tests, it could even handle well speed 5. Only DJI and GoPro managed to do this. The stabilization is so good that going further would mean making action shots too stable, almost boring. Another strength now, less than 20 seconds before we discuss the flaws. In the O of action, starting from Osmo Action 3, DJI introduced a sensor specialized in white balance, enabling more accurate color dominance reading and giving us realistic balance, even underwater. Kudos to DJI for breaking Insta360 monopoly. Now, the minor flaws. With a large sensor, the night performance is good, but dynamic range control isn't perfect. In this scene, notice the strong light spots. The overexposed air is less controlled compared to Insta360 Ace Pro, but it's evident that even the older Insta360 ONE-RS with a 1-inch sensor performs better. Another small letdown, definitely better than GoPro 12 at night, but for motorcycle stabilization, DJI Action 4 falls short of Sony FDR-X 3000 from 2016, which has optical stabilization. Shame on you, DJI, and not to mention GoPro. Now the real elephant in the room is coming. How can you buy a €400 action cam that turns off after just 5 minutes of recording in the summer heat? Imagine, it turns off while you're filming on a jet ski, skydiving, or during a 20-meter freestyle motorbike jump. It's absolutely unacceptable, rendering all this technological marvel useless. Kick it! Released in March 2022, with all these innovations, the Insta360 ONE-RS already seems like an outdated action cam. But is it really? Or can it still hold its own? If you have a passionate friend, this is the perfect gift, because it's designed as a modular camera. Buy the base model for about €250 and you'll get a good 4K action cam. But you can also add the 360 module, albeit not professional grade, and the 1-inch sensor module for enhanced image detail and dynamic range, unmatched by any other action cam. These shots taken inside a sports car with the summer sun outside would have been worse with any other action cam. Perhaps the Insta360 Ace Pro? Remember the video shot at the fairground rides with the GoPro 12 and the DJI Action 4? Compared to other action cams, there's better control of highlights here. Look at the roller coaster lights, how beautiful they are. But others have made huge strides in video stabilization. And this stabilization comparison, where Insta360 ONE-RS already struggles at speed 4, well, it's harsh. What does this instrumental detection mean in real life? Insta360 ONE-RS, even at night and on a go-kart with a lawnmower engine, captures beautiful images. Sure, until they hit me. Then you notice a bit of the jelly effect, but the mount had leaned against the engine's edge. During the day on a motorcycle, we will have excellent quality and stable images. And even when capturing a professional rider in supermodded like the great Matteo Manzo, extended dynamic range with a 1-inch sensor, excellent low-light performance, decent vibration compensation, and good clarity with digital zoom. Even if a bit old, the Insta360 ONE-RS still holds up well.
Ciao!